Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll let everyone sort of join the Zoom as everyone populates. It's great to see everyone's faces. My name is Rachel Keegan. I'm the Director of Enrollment at School Year Abroad, and you are officially attending the SYA Spain admissions virtual reception, which is a very exciting time. We have a great team who are going to have a great presentation for you tonight. They're based in Spain. So that's why we're here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. And I appreciate everyone making the time to attend. So the program we have today outlined, I think, is going to answer a lot of your questions. At the same time, we are going to encourage folks, if you do have additional questions, to please put them in the chat box, and we will end the program with a question and answer session. We're going to start, though, with some brief introductions of folks who are on the call. And Senora Alejo, our resident director in Spain, is going to have a great conversation with two currently enrolled students, Layla Whitaker. Layla, just raise your hand. Great. And Gus Mercado Quinn. And they are both juniors who are currently enrolled living in Zaragoza. We also have the good fortune of having their parents on the phone, and we will be hearing from their perspective as well, because their perspective is just as important, especially at this stage of the game where you all are in your decision-making process, to hear SYA is really a family journey. It's obviously a student journey, but it's a family journey too. And it's great to hear from the parents who are US based now from their perspective. So before I pass the baton over to Senora Alejo, I do want to share a brief video, admissions video, with you all to kind of set the stage and give you a little bit of information about what goes on in Zaragoza. And then we'll pass it over to the team in Spain.
So I decided to do SYA for a number of reasons. I think what it boils down to is really that pursuit of wanting to be a part of something greater. I really didn't look at it as a step away. I looked at it as more of a chapter in my life. Every day you overcome not just one new thing, 10 new things. And that's just drastically going to change how I look at things. What SYA does best is make students comfortable being uncomfortable. You really start to embrace the idea of being uncomfortable. As much as SYA attracts a specific type of student, I think SYA attracts a specific type of teacher that is really, really deeply invested in us taking advantage of this year and using these opportunities to the best of our abilities.
In art, we're at the museums, we're asking our families about art. It's all extremely interactive with the community. It's all built and shaped for this city, which is really special.
In our science class, we learn things in class and go out into the field, go out into the community and really interact with it in person. And we do a lot of field trips to the mountains and to the surrounding natural areas to really experience firsthand what we learn in class.
So the capstone project is the culminating end of year project for all SYA students, but it's very much grounded in the fact that we are in Spain, we are in Zaragoza. If you just look at people's capstones, they're interviewing different political figures in Spain. This is all in Spanish. Throughout the year, I've progressed entirely into be able to discuss complex topics.
I feel confident saying anything. I can talk to anyone, and it's something I plan to keep up for my whole life. It's really a gift.
I think my biggest takeaway from SYA hasn't even been like my language development, but it's like me as a person. Like I have just grown in ways that I can't even explain, and I'm so proud of everything that I've like overcome, accomplished, and have like grown into being like today. And like I honestly don't think I could have done it without SYA or like without the people here.
Without a doubt, SYA opens doors. SYA forces you to grow as a person, as an individual, as a member of a community. It really does.
For anyone who's on the fence about going to SYA or even applying, the fact that you're even thinking about it probably means that you're somebody who should be here.
Thank you, Sarah. I did just want to have one comment before I pass it off to Senora Alejo, and that is that this program is predominantly focused on our academic year experience. So that would be semester, fall semester, spring semester, and our year-long program. If you are on this event and you're interested in our summer program, you are absolutely welcome to stay, and we'd love to share about our academic year program with you. But if you have specific information about the summer program, I would direct you A, to our website, and B, to Jeanette Kirby. We'll put her email in the chat box and to reach out to her directly if you have specific questions for her. So I just wanted to share that. So Senora Alejo, all yours. Oh, you're muted again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Buenas noches a todos. I'm Rocío Alejo Rodríguez. I'm the resident director, and my students call me Señora Alejo. And you know, I love seeing this video because it really depicts the city of Zaragoza really well. You know, what you see on the video is what it is. So it's very interesting to see it, and also to see the cafe that is right next to school where our students go every day, and I go there too. The teachers go there, so we all see each other there all the time. So it's interesting to see the video. I'm very happy to be here with all of you and be able to have a conversation with Leila and with Gus about their experience here, and at the same time explain you what is our program and details specific about the program. So I would like to thank Gus and Laila for being here with me tonight. They are both great. And, you know, we have had many experiences together already. And I would like to also thank their parents, Phil and Regina, if you want to wave too, because they are here too to talk about their experience as SYA parents, which is also very important at the time that you are right now in this process. So they will provide some insight, Leila and Gus, about their experiences. And if you are thinking about applying to the program, please listen carefully because we have lots of things to discuss tonight. So I wanted to ask Leila and Gus to introduce themselves. ¿Queréis presentaros en español, por favor?
Ok, hola, soy Leila. Soy de California, pero asisto a un internado en Nueva Hampshire y ahora estoy en España y me encanta. Do you want me to also do that in English now?
Yeah, why not? So just in case there are not everyone is Spanish speaker, so let's go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, I'm Leila. I'm from California, but I go to a boarding school in New Hampshire, and now I'm here in Spain, and I love it.
Hola, Gus.
Hola, me llamo Gas y soy de Los Ángeles y ahora vivo en Zaragoza y me encanta todo. Hi, I'm Gus. I'm from LA or from Los Angeles and I'm in Spain and I love it all.
Gracias, chicos. Regina and Phil, would you like to also introduce yourselves? Regina,
Sure,
we can't hear you.
Oh, you want me to start? I'm unmuted. I'm Phil Mercado. I am one of Gus Mercado Quinn's dads and in Los Angeles, but just back from Zaragoza over the holiday break.
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Regina. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm Regina Whitaker. I'm Layla's mom, and we live in Northern California, the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm from California.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
We have one more parent, Senora Alejo.
Oh, he arrived. Okay. Hi.
Hi, I'm Todd Quinn. I'm Gus's other dad, also in Los Angeles, and also from a recent trip to Zaragoza.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I had the pleasure to meet them when they were in Zaragoza. So this is another of the nice things that they can come and visit their kids, see all their development, and then get to know each other, and we get to know them. And it's all really wonderful to get to know the families too over the break. So I would like to start by talking about our curriculum first, and how is our school day. So we have classes as a regular school from Monday to Friday, and a typical schedule is from 8:45 when we start classes to 4:30. But on Wednesdays, we have our fieldwork days. So the whole Wednesday is dedicated to fieldwork and is linked to our experiential Spanish class, which we will talk about in a moment. So our students generally take 6 classes. They take 4 core classes that include English and math, Spanish language, and experiential Spanish, and then they take 2 elective classes. So I want to tell you a little bit more about one of our signature classes, which is Experiential Spanish, in which the city of Zaragoza is an extension of the classroom, and our students reflect on diverse aspects of the culture and the urban geography of the city. This class is linked to our fieldwork days, in which our students, through a hands-on approach, experience the topics studied in the class. Our fieldwork days are also connected to some of our elective classes, and they are connected to sometimes art, sometimes history of Spain, sometimes science. So they become interdisciplinary at times when we combine experiential Spanish classes with science classes, for example. So Laila and Gus, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with fieldwork days and how you are benefiting from studying in this manner, as well as which one has been your favorite fieldwork so far? Laila, you want to start?
Yes. Okay. So fieldwork, I feel like there's 2 different types of fieldworks. There's a type where we stay in the city of Zaragoza and we walk around, we split into groups and of like 3 to 4 people, and we go and do some type of task. We interview people on the street, we go to different museums, and it's all focused on one topic, and then we come back later and we collect all of our stuff together and submit it in a document, our findings on what we found that day. And then there's also the type where we take a bus, the whole school, and we go to some near-ish city, and that relates to Zaragoza, and we do some activity there. Like once we went to a vineyard and we cut grapes and then we like stomped on them and made wine. We didn't drink it, most of us. And then we also like went to Navarra recently, which is in another like Comunidad Autónoma, and we learned about where Zaragoza gets our drinking water from. And then, so okay, my personal favorite is probably Zaragoza Romana, which is where we visited different parts. This was one in Zaragoza, sorry, obviously, but we split into groups, and then we went to different museums in parts of Zaragoza where we still had things from when the Roman Empire was in control of Spain. Like we went to a museum, and you literally go underground and like into the ruins in the museum, and you clearly like see how Zaragoza was back in the day. And it's amazing because we got to see how small the city was back then and how much it's grown. So that was my favorite.
Gracias, Laila. Gus?
I think that my favorite was probably when we went to the vineyard. So we went to a vineyard, we all took a bus, the whole grade or the whole school, and we went to a nearby pueblo, which is like a little town, and we got to pick a bunch of grapes from this big vineyard and like stomp on it and make wine, which Layla talked about. And I thought that was really fun because I got to connect with my peers while we had a fun time, and then we also got to see how they also made wine behind the scenes, and I thought that was a really fun experience.
And how do you think you benefit from learning this way? Because it's different from what we usually do at our homeschools, right?
I've benefited because it gives us a chance to see Zaragoza in a more place-based like context, and we can go out into the city, and instead of learning about the history of Spain, for example, we can see it with our own eyes. And because Spain's history is so rich with everything that's happened over so many years, it's been great to see the city and the different monuments and churches and ruins that it still has. So I think it's a great way to see the city we actually live in and to kind of get to know it better.
Leila, what do you think?
Well, I think that I agree with everything like I said. I also think that the fieldwork allows us to see Zaragoza and Spain more as locals than as tourists. Like we have gone to spots in Zaragoza that I never would have gone to, besides doing fieldwork. Like We had one where we all had to where we all had to visit different neighborhoods in Zaragoza. And that really allowed me to see how different people live just in like one city, I guess, and like outside of just the center where I would spend most of my time. And see again how it's changed, like I said, like see the history with my own eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, for us, it's very important that in our experiential Spanish class, our students see themselves not as tourists, but as a part of our city. Also, that they immerse in the city and they are able to get to know every neighborhood, every specific details about the neighborhoods that, I mean, I don't even know them. The students know the neighborhoods better than I do because they study in depth, right? And that, moves them from being a tourist or just somebody who's passing by to be somebody who is connected to the city and knows where to go if they need to, find an activity or they need to go to some library or anything, they know where to go in each neighborhood because they know them. So I think it's very interesting, and our students benefit greatly from the experiential Spanish class, not just because they interact with other people, but also because they get to know the city in a very, very different way that they won't be able to if they were just, visiting the city. Now I would like to talk also about the elective classes that we offer at school. So electives also provide a great opportunity to deep into the Spanish culture, and they can also help with some graduation requirements that students may have at their home schools. The students the electives, that we are offering right now are culture and civilizations, history of Spain through the lens of cinema, environmental sciences, theater, and macroeconomics. Lila, Gus, can you tell us a little bit about your electives? Which electives are you taking?
I am taking Spanish civilization and cultures and history of Spain through the lens of its cinema. Amazing classes, both of them. Wait, Gus, what are you taking?
I'm taking art history and science.
Okay, perfect. So we can talk about our own. Okay. So, history through the lens of its cinema is probably my favorite class at SYA. Because what we do is we have this like book, this binder-ish, and first we read about a period in Spanish history, and then we take like a comprehension test, and then we watch a film that's related to that time period and what we learned about. Like we read about the Civil War in Spain, and then we watched a movie based like during the time of the Civil War. And it really helps you, I guess, witness Spain in different ways and like understand it on a deeper level. And the movies are interesting. So I really like it. And I talked to my host mom a lot at dinner about what I've learned about like the history of Spain. And it's amazing because it's fun and super informative.
Thanks,
Oh,
Lila.
sorry.
Gus.
Sorry. And then also Spanish civilization and cultures, an amazing class as well. Because we also adjust to the current topics. Like there were recently elections in Spain. And we spoke about that. We spoke about anything controversial. And our teacher likes us to mention like new cultural observations that we made, new experiences that we've had. And it's just very open to talking about our experience in Spain and other different groups of people in Spain.
For me, I take environmental science and history of Spain through our art history of Spain. So my favorite one out of those two, and probably my favorite class in general, is probably art history, because we get to learn so much about the history of Spain, but more specifically the art and of all like the famous painters that it's had. So it's been really interesting to learn about that. And I really like my teacher Soleil, so she's a great teacher. So it's really fun to be in her class. And also on fieldwork, sometimes we go to different museums. Like we went to the Goya Museum, and Goya is an artist who's super important to Zaragoza. So for one of the Trabajo de Campos, which is a fieldwork day, we went to his museum. So it was really fun to, again, like in fieldwork, see more about the history of the city and how it connects to a class. And then I also really like my environmental science class, because I really like my teacher Tomas, and we just learn about, he really helps us try to learn science, which is super complicated, through Spanish, because it's taught in Spanish. And I think he does a a really good job at making sure that we learn about science while also learning Spanish at the same time. So I really like both those classes.
Thank you. And part of our academic program too are our academic trips. So we have 2 big academic trips, well, 6 big academic trips, because what we do is during the fall and in the spring, we divide our class in 3 different groups, and each group goes to a different place in Spain. So these trips are designed by our faculty with the intention of offering a broader cultural experience to our students in different parts of Spain. So this year, during the fall, we went to Andalusia, we went to País Vasco, the Basque Country, and to Valencia. And then we will have our spring trips, and we are going to Galicia, Andalusia again, and different parts, and Barcelona. So we divide the students in those groups, and then they are small groups accompanied by the teachers, and that makes it a really interesting connecting experience for all of us. Laila, can you comment on your experience on these trips?
So I went to Andalusia with Senora Alejo, and it was honestly one of the highlights of my year so far because it was so fun spending time with my classmates and my peers, especially those who I wasn't friends with or I wasn't as close with. And it was a great, I had so much fun getting to see a bunch of historic places, especially in the south of Spain, where they have more like Muslim architecture, which is different from the north. So it was really nice to see all of this different kind of architecture and hear a different kind of dialect spoken in the country where I've been living that I hadn't been exposed to. So I really like that, and getting to experience that with all of my peers, or with a lot of my peers, was really fun. And I got to make a lot of friends, and I just thought that it was so fun, and it's still one of the highlights. And I'm really looking forward to our next academic trip, and especially when it was good to see the rest of my friends when we came back to Zaragoza, when everyone came back from their trips, and we all talked about how fun our trips was, and it seemed that everyone loved it. So it was definitely one of the highlights of the year.
Yeah, it was actually my favorite part of SYA Spain so far. I went to País Vasco, Basque Country. It's funny because when we all came back, like I said, we were all excited to talk about our trips, but then also everybody's like, "Oh, my trip was the best." Like, trust me, like my trip was the best. Um, yeah, everybody thinks that their trip is the best. País Vasco knows that we're the best, but yeah, I absolutely loved my trip. I mean, País Vasco, gorgeous, gorgeous place. You should all visit it if you have the ability. Yeah, that was an amazing time. I learned so much. We got to go to different places in País Vasco. We stayed in San Sebastián like the whole time in our hotel, but we visited different places each day. We got to go to a Guggenheim museum, which was really cool. We also visited a cathedral. We got to walk to the top of it, see a gorgeous view of the town that it was in. Yeah, I bonded with my peers in a completely new way. I talked to people that I never got the chance to talk to in school because we didn't have classes or anything. Yeah, it was fun staying together in the hotel, and it was a gorgeous place, and the food delicious, amazing. País Vasco is known for their gastronomy. I had a great time there. Yeah, the academic travel was definitely my favorite part, and I'm excited to go to a different part of Spain and learn more about that part.
Thank you, Leila and Gus. Yeah, I think that the academic trips are very special for everyone too, including teachers that accompany the students, because you get to spend a week together and you get to know your students really well then. And, you know, to interact with them in a different setting, which is also an important way of getting to know them and getting to know other aspects of their lives that is just not the academic aspect. So those are very big things that we are all looking forward during the year. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about life outside of school. So one of the most important and rewarding parts of the student experience is living with a host family. I know that our prospective families have a lot of questions about this part of the program, and I would like to start with the selection process. So all of our families have gone through a rigorous process of selection in which they have to complete documentation. They are interviewed by a host family coordinator, Senora Elena Shab, who visits every home to make sure that they meet all of our standards. She makes the best the best placement possible based on the information provided by the students and by the parents of our students. So when working on the placement process, the factors that we take into consideration are the personal characteristics that will provide a meaningful stay for our students. We have a lot of families who have been working with us for many years here at SYA Spain, and most of the new families that we have come recommended by the current families we have. So that provides a solid network of host families that we are the ones that with whom we work during the school year. Senora Sharp, our host family coordinator, knows the families well and provides updates and support to our students' families throughout the whole academic year, as well as to our students. So the host families are a key element in the development of our students, and we see them as an extension of the school itself. Students learn about the culture of Spain, about the different celebrations, cultural norms, and it helps them enormously with the development of their language skills too. Many of our students form a very special bond with their host families, and they keep in touch for a long time. We have had cases of students who have come to visit us, alumni who visit us, that they are attending their host siblings' weddings at this point, or stories of host families who go to the United States for their weddings, or they just come to Zaragoza and they visit their host families every year. So we have all sorts of stories like this because they really form a meaningful bond that stays with them forever. So Laila, guys, would you like to talk a little bit about your host families?
Yeah, so I really
Guys,
love
you
my
want to start?
oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Okay. I really love my host family. I have a host mom and two host sisters, one who's 19 and one who's 16. So it's been really fun and I also have two sisters back home in LA or in Los Angeles. So it's been really fun to kind of get to know them. And it's a sort of similar dynamic, but it's also different because now I'm living with a single mom. So it's been super fun to get to know them. And I really bond a lot with both my sisters, especially the older one whose name is Teresa. So it's been fun to like be there and I get to practice my Spanish with people who are obviously native speakers. So it's different than being in school and practicing with my classmates. So it's been really also helpful for my Spanish development because like shows me how to speak like a native and it helps me in that aspect. And then I really love doing different like events with them, or sometimes when they travel, we've been to the Pyrenees before, because sometimes they go there and then they brought me along. So that was really fun to also spend time with them there. So I think it's been the host family process has been really helpful to my growing as a person here, as well as my growing in Spanish, because I get to know these people who are so important to me and important to my life in general and also in SYA. So it's been a really great experience living with the host family.
Thank you. Laila?
Yes, so I've also had a great experience with my host family. My host family is a mother, father, and a host sister who's 24. I come from just living with a single mom, so it's definitely different, but I have a lot of fun. I definitely agree. My Spanish has improved so much from living with them. And the great part is also that they can, like, I feel like sometimes while you're here, you don't exactly realize how much you're improving. Like a lot of times I felt like I wasn't improving, but then my host family has told me where I've improved. And also when I've asked, they've given me constructive criticism that I think was really important. Also learn, yeah, you're exactly right, Gus. Like you learn how to speak more like a local. You learn to use those little filler words. Pues nada, ¿qué tal? Little things like that.
Vamos.
Yeah, vamos, pues. Yeah, all the important words. And yeah, we eat dinner every night. I get to talk about my classes with them, and sometimes, like I said earlier, I talk about my history class a lot, and they tell me more context that I didn't know before that may even help me in that class later. Um, or just like, I don't know, random things. And we used to go sometimes to see live music together, which is a lot of fun as well. I think that living with a host family is definitely a crucial part of the SYA experience.
Yeah, thank you. And also talking about outside of school, I want to move into extracurricular activities. So all of our students participate in an activity after school. Extracurriculars are a wonderful way of getting to know more people their age, right? Kids their own age, if they participate in activities that involve also to be with kids that are their age, young Spaniards. And also get to know the culture better too. So we have an extracurriculars coordinator at school that helps coordinate all the activities and keep tracks of all the activities that the students are participating in. So some of the activities that are more popular are, for example, cooking classes. We have also activities, sport activities. So in Spain, extracurricular activities are not linked to the school. They are usually practiced outside of school. So that's why our students do the same as they do in the high schools in Spain. So they do them outside of school. So some of our students are in soccer teams and volleyball. I was gonna say baseball. We also they could join a baseball team. There is just one baseball team in Zaragoza. They could join that team if they want to. Volleyball team, basketball team. So then we have cooking classes, ceramic classes, painting classes. So all sorts of activities that are really good for their development and the development of their language skills. If there is an activity that, is not presented by the extracurriculars coordinator, usually she starts digging, and then she finds the activity and our students can join it. And we also have volunteer opportunities. So is the extracurricular programs is pretty full with different things, and we always encourage our students to do it, and is one of our requirements too. Gus, Leila, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've done the first semester, or if you are doing it still?
Yes. So I do gymnastics, and I did Bailes Latinos last semester. So with gymnastics, it's with Spanish people at a gym. I'm the only American there. It's a lot of fun, and I definitely learn important words from them as well. And it's really nice speaking with people my age, because they also like tell me about cultural things, like telling what music they listen to and what shows are good. And they told me like what to do during Pilates, which is a big holiday that lasts like a week here. It's a giant thing. Um, yeah, it's really fun going there, and I'm gonna hang out with them soon, so that's very exciting. And then I also did, as I said, Bailes Latinos, which was taught by a Spanish person, or he was actually from Cuba, but a person local to here. And it was with only SYA students, but that was a lot of fun having like a class with all of them. We got to bond outside of class and like do a bunch of dances from different parts of the world. And it also, I think, helps with your independence, because you're the one that has to, I guess, be responsible for like getting yourself to these places on time, letting them know that you're going to be there, like communicating with the coaches and everything. Yeah, that's my experience.
Great.
For me, I do tennis. So, or for the first semester and the semester I've done tennis, which is twice a week, and I do it with the 3 other of my SYA peers. But this one is just for SYAers, but sometimes like a lot of the other extracurriculars are with Spanish people. But so I do tennis, which has been really fun, and of course it's taught by a Spaniard, so it's fun, and like also chatting with like the coaches there. It's nice to also practice my Spanish. And then for the second semester, I'm gonna also start doing ceramics. So I'm really excited about that because it's a way that I can connect with other Spanish people as well as the other SY people who take the class as well. So I really like the extracurricular experience so far.
Thank you. And now we are gonna talk a little bit about the city of Zaragoza. So Zaragoza has an ideal location. I don't know if you have found it on the map of Spain, but has an ideal location because it's right in the middle, but a little bit to the north east part, and is really, really well connected by train and by bus to other parts of the country. Especially by train, you know, because we can be in 1 hour and a half in Barcelona, in 1 hour and a half in Madrid. So it's well connected, and that provides also good connection with United States because you are very close to the airports. That is a very important feature of the city, the connections that are really good. It's not a small city, but it's very easy to move around, and the city public transportation system is really good and very efficient. And Zaragoza also has an ample offering of cultural activities in which our students can participate if they want to. Our students usually move around in public transportation, and they all receive una tarjeta de transporte, like a bus card that can be used in the tram or in the bus. And they learn to use it really quickly, and they are very used to use it and come from their host family homes to school using the bus or using the tram. And you know, it's a great way to move around. The city is also a very safe city, and again, it's not that big, so it's very walkable too. Laila, Gas, would you like to comment briefly on, you know, the city of Zaragoza? What is your favorite part of the city?
I really like Zaragoza because of how walkable it is and how easy it is to get around. Like, for example, they have a tranvia, which is like a tram that runs north and south of the city, and it's super easy. It comes like every 5 minutes or depending on the time of day, but it's super easy to get on because you just have to tap your card and then you can be basically anywhere in the city that you want to be. And they also have a really great bus system that takes you to all the other parts that you can't reach with the tranvia. And also I live in my host house, I live in the center, and that's also where school is. So I can just walk to school, which makes it super easy to get around. And I always feel safe. It's always like, it's a really nice city. So overall, I think the city is a really good place to live in, especially for a student.
Yeah, it is amazing for transportation. I'm not from a big city, I'm from the suburbs. So this was a completely new experience for me, but I think that Zaragoza's transportation system made it really easy. I live a bit farther than Gus. I live across the river. That's how we, I guess, measure things here. Like, school is on one side of the river, I live on the other. So it takes me a bit longer to get to school. I take a bus and tranvia, but it's like a 20-minute trip. It's really not bad. And yeah, it's the tranvia, really easy to use. It's one line, goes this way, goes that way. And then the bus system is also very easy to use. And there's an app called Avanza Zaragoza, which tells you like where all the buses run, when yours is coming. Perfect app. I highly recommend to everybody who's coming here. And for favorite parts of the city, I have, I'd say, a favorite spot in each part of the city. Like in Actor, I really love the street that I live on because we have like 2 grocery stores, an ice cream shop, pharmacy, restaurants, everything on my one street, which also has 3 other people from SYA living there, which is pretty cool. And then like in the center, I have my favorite restaurants and the cafe that Senora Alejo was talking about. And then like we also have Puerto Venecia, which is one of the largest malls in Europe. So that's pretty cool. They have an ice rink now.
Yeah.
So there's like really cool parts in whatever area of the city you live in. So there's always something to do.
Thank you so much, Leila and Gaz, for answering my questions and having this conversation. I think this is going to be very helpful for prospective parents and prospective students. And now Rachel will talk a little bit with your parents about different aspects of the experience of being SYA parents. Rachel, I pass it to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Layla and Gus, for your wonderful perspectives on such a unique experience. So the folks we have on the call today, you know, they're in the shoes that you were in last year at this time as you were going through your decision-making process to apply. And as I said earlier, it really is a family decision. So I'd love to hear from our parents on the call a little bit about what that decision-making process was for you, and if there are some words of wisdom you'd like to share with those parents who are on the call today. We have quite a few. Regina, would you like to go first?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, I was in your situation last year. So first of all, I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend it. Well, when I was in your process, my thoughts were, is it going to be safe there? What happens if she gets sick? Who's going to take care of her? Oh, she's so far away. You know, what am I going to do? Let me just squash all that for you and let you know that the school is very, very, very protective of your children. Very protective of your children. They keep us advised on everything that's happening. They send us photos and updates on everything that's going on. Your child gets in it. These are the people that are going to be surrounding your children. The teachers, the other staff, they get an advisor that's assigned to them. Then they have their host parents that you also have. So that was my first concern. So I was so happy, and I'm very happy to tell you that the city is very safe. The children, they really, if they need to be really kind of independent, minded children, because they are gonna do a lot. There's a lot of experiences that are happening. So all of the concerns you have as far as distance and so on and so forth, it's easy for me to say because I'm already in it, but that was my major concern. And also I was thinking, is she going to be homesick? And was she going to, let me tell you, these kids bond and they become their own little families. Okay. They're not alone. They won't be isolated. That's not going to happen. Oftentimes they probably will be so into what they're doing. They may forget about you. Don't get your feelings hurt, but they may forget about you, but let them roam and have their experiences and ensure that they get the opportunity to become global citizens. That's the key to this whole thing, is to your children live in a global perspective now, not like when I grew up. So living in a different country gives them a whole different perspective, where if you allow them to do this, they could be able to adjust to any country they choose to go to. So that was, I hope I answered that.
Oh, that's wonderful. No,
correctly.
thank you,
Okay.
Regina. Yeah, super helpful. Um, Todd and Phil, would you want to share your perspectives through the admissions process, and then any words of wisdom you'd like to share with the parents on the call?
You want to go first, Phil, or you want me to go?
Sure. So I would echo a lot of what Regina said, that this experience has been utterly fantastic for Gus and our family, and I know his host family as well. And you know, again, like what Regina said, that she was very, concerned about, oh my gosh, she's going to be so far away, safety, all that kind of stuff. We shared those same concerns, along with making sure that the program was going to be basically the same experience academically from where Gus is currently enrolled. And our school that Gus goes to now has had a long relationship with SYA, and so we were fairly confident that the academic program is going to be up to snuff and on par with where he is at. So that concern was laid to rest pretty quickly. And then, as Regina was talking about, just the safety aspect, right? They're so far away, and we were concerned about potential loneliness because he has a twin sister who wasn't going to be going in the program, things like that. But he has fully embraced the program, has embraced a number of the kids in the program and his host family. And we had the privilege to be able to go over the holidays. And so we spent a couple of weeks with him and had dinners with the host family, met a lot of the other kids who are equally as enthusiastic about the program as both of the students on the program today. And being there, you just felt that, they are in very good hands with SYA. They are in very good hands in Zaragoza. And so it alleviated any kind of concern whatsoever. And honestly, I don't know if Gus is going to want to come home. Todd, I don't know if you have anything more to add.
Yeah, well, I think for me, just to kind of, based on what you said, is like, I think Gus loves it so much, which makes me love the program even more. I think what was, again, we have 3 kids. If you had asked me 2 years ago which of my kids would be going off on a year abroad, I don't think I would have said Gus. And he kind of spread his wings a year ago. And I think we had a good friend that did the program in Italy the year prior, and I think Gus was able to kind of glean off of her experience, kind of get excited, and by some of the programs that SYA did, as in terms of like admissions and kind of outreach, he was sold, and I think has never looked back. And we shared all of Regina's concerns of safety, connecting with the family, and it's been nothing but positive. We loved visiting Zaragoza. We loved meeting his family. They hosted us for a holiday dinner, had gifts for all of us, and it was just more than we could have imagined.
Oh, thank you so much. All parent, like just, it's wonderful to hear those perspectives. Honestly, I've been doing this for many, many years, and I never get tired of hearing the firsthand experiences that, again, the whole family has when they do an SYA experience. So there were a couple of questions, and it was interesting. You parents helped answer some of them around the safety that parents have asked about. One of the questions, Senora Alejo, was about wellness and sort of health concerns for students. Could you talk just a little bit about what happens if a student needs to see a doctor and how that works?
So we have a doctor that works for us for our school, Dr. Gracia, and so he's available by call at all times during the day. It's amazing. I don't think he's ever sleeps. And so if it's a medical emergency, so there are hospitals, of course, so we can call Dr. Gracia. Dr. Gracia visits our students at home too if it's late at night. Or we can take the student to the emergency room if it's necessary. But if it's just a medical thing that doesn't require an emergency, attendance, so we through the school we make the appointments with Dr. Gracia, and the students go and see him. Or if Dr. Gracia seems like he thinks that the student needs to see a specialist, then he will make the appointment for the student to go. So we have a pretty established system, and our students have a private insurance that that aligns with Dr. Gracia and all the doctors that he works with.
Great.
I hope I answered the question.
Yes. Yeah. Right. No, that's great. The other thing, one of the questions that came up was sort of just the size of the program and sort of the numbers of students that we have sort of semester versus year long. And I did just want to address that briefly. So our name is School Year Abroad, and we historically have been a year-long program. Both Layla and Gus are year-long students, but we do also have semester students enrolled in the program. And there's about 65 students total, and we'll have what we call one section, and that's somewhere between 12 and 15 students come in the fall, and a similar number in the spring. So those fall students join the year-long program all at the same time, and they take similar classes. They simply leave at the holiday break, which is when we break our first semester. Our second semester students, and one thing we do just want to be clear, you may not choose to extend if you wish to go in the fall. You must depart then, because we have your space is being replaced by a spring semester student in the spring. And then in the spring, which was just our spring semester starts, which was just last week, we had a number of students arrive for the spring semester, and they join the year-long students in the program. They have a buddy who's a year-long student, and there's a small orientation program, but they do join the year-long program in their courses. And then we'll finish the program with the students in May. So all of them are wonderful options, and we're happy to answer any questions you have, the admissions team here, about those, but I did just want to address that because there were a couple of questions about that. One of the questions was about the students staying in country during break. We, for those students who are year-long students, they are obviously with SYA over the holiday break, in the sense that they're still enrolled in the program. We discourage students from returning to the States for the holidays. Many parents will come and visit if they are able. But when that student meets that host family on the first day of the program, they're a member of that family until the very last day of the program. Many students will spend the holidays with their families and experience some extremely unique, wonderful experiences visiting their extended families. where Spain takes their holidays pretty seriously. So I've heard some pretty wonderful stories of students who've done that. Students may also meet their US families who come over and travel around Spain for some time, but we do really encourage folks to stay in country because the learning of the language is so important. And when you leave, you're so immersed. The learning of Spanish is a critical piece in all of this experience. And when you do leave, if only for a week or two, it does sort of set students back. So we really do encourage students to try to stay in country if their families do come over the holidays. And it's actually a wonderful time where students are able to show off their language skills to their parents and find that they have some pretty, all of a sudden, parents, I've heard stories of parents are now being led by their children around the city and toured around and shared things. And it's a really unique, wonderful dynamic. I'm just looking, there is another question about here, the opportunity to travel within country in small groups. Maggie talked about that. So there is an opportunity for independent travel as well. It's an earned privilege that students have. And there are a few weekends throughout the year where students do have the option to plan a trip inside the country of Spain, where they must build an itinerary. Their host family has to sign off on it. Our resident director and the US parents need to sign off on that trip as well. And they may go in small groups to visit other towns sort of not too far from Zaragoza. And that's an earned privilege, and students really enjoy that a lot. I don't know, Senora Alejo, if you wanted to share a little bit more about independent travel.
Yeah, so independent travel, as Rachel was saying, is an earned privilege. And it is based on academics, language skills, and, overall behavior at school, regarding attendance, lateness, all those kinds of things, discipline. And what there are different weekends that are assigned for students to travel if they want to do that. And most of the weekends they will be able to travel from Friday to Sunday. And as Rachel was saying, an itinerary needs to be planned, and that my signature included, and their parents, their US parents included too, their host family, their advisor. So I mean, it is a lengthy process at the end, but we really, as Rachel was saying, safety is our utmost priority, and as the parents were saying too. So we take these independent trips very seriously, and we pay attention to all the details on the trip. And if I don't like it, I don't sign on it. So, and the students know that. So sometimes they ask me for suggestions, places that they can go that I know they are good places to go. So, and it's a great experience for them. But again, it's a process and it's an earned privilege.
Wonderful, thanks. Layla and Gus, I'm wondering if there are a couple of questions here about what do you do on the weekends? If you could share a little, what do you like to do in Zaragoza on the weekends?
So what I like to do on the weekends is I really like to, so first I hang out with my friends because it's obviously I'm very close to them, and I consider them, I've gotten really close to them, even though like I've only known them for a few months, or however long I've been here. But since we've been through this experience together, moving through a new country, I'm really close with them. So I like to hang out with them. I like to go to the movies with them. And I also like to hang out with my host family because it's always fun to hang out with them and to practice my Spanish. And over the holidays, they had a lot of different Christmas activities or holiday activities, like an ice skating rink, which they had in the big plaza of the city, as well as a sledding activity. So I thought those were really fun to do. And those are what I mostly do. We could go to a cafe, watch a movie, we could go shopping, we could do anything that we feel, because well, obviously I do my homework first and then I like to hang out with them. So it's just super fun to be so independent and kind of just try to plan my weekends to how I can have fun, but also how I can stay on track of school. So
Thanks.
I do something pretty similar, I guess. I hang out with my friends. We watch movies. Sometimes we'll go to the movies. All the movies are in Spanish. And then sometimes we'll go to one of our houses and watch a movie there, even though that's less common because actually in Spain it's not that common to go to over to each other's house, which I found out once I came here. But we like to just get dinner at some spot that we like, and then maybe we go to like one of the parks. We have a lot of parks here in Zaragoza. Or we do some random activity that we find out about. Like one time we did an escape room, which is actually a lot of fun. And yeah, there's a lot of freedom to do what you want to do here. Oh, sometimes I like to go and watch like a soccer game that one of my SYA friends is playing in, on like a local team, and we might go get ice cream after to celebrate. More, that was more something when it was warm, but yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah, I've found over the years that students will spend part of the weekend with their host family doing an activity, perhaps either with host siblings or going to visit, you know, the grandparents for lunch, and then part of the weekend with their SYA friends, getting together, doing things that many of the types of things that teens in the States do. So, but there's a lot to do. Obviously, Zaragoza is a large but very manageable and safe city. So we're coming right up on 4 o'clock. And so I did want to just give our dear friends over in Spain a chance to maybe even have dinner because they eat so late there. But I did just want to go over just a couple of quick things. Application deadline is February 9th. So if you're still interested or you still have questions, our admissions team is available. I'm happy to chat with you about it. But we do have a deadline for applications, and that's February 9th. And we're excited that that is coming close, and we're going to start to read files soon. Decisions are mailed out in very early March. So students will find out, and we will do another webinar opportunity like this where you'll have an opportunity to meet more of the team in Spain if you are offered a space and you're trying to decide if you're going to take it. So there'll be lots of other opportunities to continue to learn more about SYA. I did want to give a huge thanks to our parents first, Layla and Gus's parents who are on the West Coast, who joined us today. And I had the opportunity to meet in person at receptions last year. And thank you so much for making the time to come. And I'm sure it was very fun to see your children. And then I'd also really like to thank Gus and Layla for taking the time today. Your perspectives are absolutely invaluable, and I think incredibly helpful for those who are on the call today to hear your experiences firsthand. And then especially Senora Alejo for taking the time to share with us her experiences. She has a very big job and knows all of our students incredibly well. And just really thank you too, late in the evening to be here on this event. So I think we're going to sign off. Yeah. Thanks everyone. And we'll look forward to reading your applications. Take care.